Let's get started by double-clicking our Bridge 1 file. And here we are on our drawing board, where we see our bridge and the environment that our bridge is in. And we have some tools up at the top here. And right now, by default, we've got our joint tool selected. And if you happen to click by accident on the drawing board, you'll put joints into the design. This will not make your bridge work. So we don't want any extra joints. So we'll go up to the Edit menu if you do this by accident and click Undo for as many times as you have extra joints. What we want to do right away is switch to this white arrow tool. That way, if we click on the drawing board, nothing's going to happen. What we can do with our arrow tool is select things. So we could select members in our truss or in our bridge, and we see them in the bridge and in the table. So the table and the bridge are connected. I can click in different ones in the table, and different pieces on my bridge will get selected. Now some of the joints are permanent, so these ones along the deck, underneath the deck here, we can't select or do anything with. But we can see we have some extra ones underneath that we can select. Please don't click and drag these around, which it lets you do, but the bridge won't work if you do that. Please don't change the design of the bridge in this case. So we'll undo that if you happen to do that by accident. We want the bridge to look just like this. Now the very first thing we need to do is a load test. So look at your table on your worksheet, and we're going to do load test number 1. And to do a load test, we're going to click on this blue button which has, it's actually supposed to be a truck on a bridge. It's hard to see though. Click that and run our first test. So here's our bridge. Here comes the truck, which is our load test, and it fails. Now sometimes you'll see pieces actually break like this, which is pretty dramatic. But if the truck stops on the bridge at any point, it means there's a problem. And we'll have to go back to the drawing board to find and fix the problem. Since our load test has failed, let's circle No on our worksheet before we forget. Now taking a look at what we see in our environment here, we can see that our bridge is in different colors. Where you see the red colors, those members are under compression. And where the colors are darker, there's more compression. The blue colored ones are in tension. So we can see which parts of the truss are in tension compared to compression. And most of it is in compression. If we take a look at one part of the truss, 3 of the pieces are in compression and 2 in tension. And that seems to be fairly common. Let's go fix our bridge. So we'll go back to the drawing board, this button right beside our load test button, and we can see which piece failed. That one right in the middle. Now we knew that already from our test. Now to select it, we can do 2 things. We can click right on the member on the drawing board, or we can click on the table. Sometimes it's easier to click on the table because where you see this dark color here, and you might see blue, you might see red. That piece happened to have been in tension, so it broke in tension. If a piece breaks in compression, you'll see a red color under compression force and blue under tension force. Now that we have it selected, we can change the size. We can do that one of 2 ways. If we come up to the toolbar here, this will increase the size, and this button will decrease the size. Decreasing the size will make it less strong, increasing will make it more strong. We can also click in this list, and we can see all the choices of sizes that we have for our member. So it started at 130. So let's write that down for our modifications after test number 1. We are changing member number 17. It started at 130 millimeters, and we're going to change it. Let's just take it up 1 notch, because as engineers we don't want to make dramatic changes, just incremental changes until we find what works. So now our record sheet should look like this, that we've changed number 17 from 130 to 140. Once we've made this change, we can do our second load test. So let's go back and do our second load test. And we'll see how that did. Ooh, now our truck got further before it broke. And again, we can see where most of the compression and most of the tension, lots of tension here. Since our load test has failed, let's circle no on our worksheet. So we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll keep fixing number 17 till it works, and keep fixing anything else that might break when you do more tests. So keep testing and keep fixing until the truck makes it all the way across the bridge. Well, it looks like the truck made it across, so congratulations, you can now get paid for your work. Assuming that is that you've made proper notes. If you haven't filled out your notes for every load test, you'd better go back to the drawing board and do that now. Take a look at which ones you changed, what they started at, what they ended at. Once you've finished your notes, raise your hands, let us know that you have a completed bridge, and we'll tell you what to do next.